I'm not making excuses for what I just watched from Shedeur Sanders as he and his Browns lost 31-3 at Chicago. I'm not surprised by that. I'm just spitting facts that I first guessed, that I used on Friday's Arena Gridiron ahead of this game. Fact, Pro Football Focus ranks Shedeur's receiving core 32nd and dead last in the National Football League. And today he didn't even have Njoku, his most decorated and trustable and experienced receiver. Fact, Pro Football Focus ranks Cleveland's pass protection 32nd and dead last in the National Football League. And today, Shedeur did not have his starting center, his starting right guard, or his starting right tackle. Fact, Chicago went into this game running away with turnover differential in the National Football League. They went in plus 17, second on the list so far this season going into today, were the Houston Texans at plus 12. The Bears were 5 clear of second place in turnover differential because they led the National Football League in interceptions with 18. They now have 21. They picked off Shedeur 3 times. I give you that. But I will detail the whys behind those 3. Let's start from the start. Shedeur's first possession, it was just like last week against Tennessee at Cleveland when the return on the opening kickoff was to the 15. All of a sudden, it's first and 10 from the 15 on your first possession. Remember, he's just a rookie as a midseason starter for a bad football team. Today, his first possession started at the half-yard line, 1/2-yard line, after a punt by the Bears was downed at the 1. Stefanski challenged it. I thought the Bears downed it at the half-yard line, and he lost the challenge. And Shedeur starts out with a false start by his favorite receiver. Now, it's a rookie third-round pick, Harold Fannin Jr., false started on the first play of the game, offensive for the Browns. Then third play was 12 men in the huddle. And on the plays, the 3 plays that Shedeur ran, Stefanski did not let him try one pass. I'm a big fan of throwing out of your end zone when you're backed up deep. I know how many times I've been victimized rooting against that, where the quarterback drops back and throws a quick out for 7 yards and they're out of quote-unquote jail. Nope, and no. Run, and run with 2 penalties interspersed. And it becomes 4th and 4 at the 7, and you're going to punt it to them, and they're going to score as they did because they're going to have a short field score. So they quickly fall behind. And by the way, another fact for you, last week at Cleveland, in a shock to me, the Browns defense, which came into this game this week, 2nd in the NFL in yards allowed. At home last week, against a 1-11 Tennessee team, the Browns gave up 184 yards rushing. Shedeur can do nothing to stop that. He can't help that. He can't fix that. And today, the Bears ran for 142 yards and mostly controlled the clock and the football game from the start. Today, the Cleveland Browns ran for, fact, 50 rushing yards. Shedeur had very little protection with the run or pass protection. What do you think's going to happen against the best intercepting defense in the National Football League? The defense that just sits back and licks chops and picks footballs out of the sky. What do you think's going to happen to a rookie quarterback who can't be protected and who's throwing to a rookie third-rounder in Harold Fannin Jr., who is by far his most target? I think he had 12 targets today. Too many targets. And he's throwing to an Isaiah Bond, and he hit him with 2 big passes, did Shedeur. One, a nice deep throw into the wind. Really a pretty ball. Isaiah Bond was an undrafted free agent rookie. Fact. Because he had to sexual allegation that eventually was dismissed, but he did drop. He might have been, I don't know, a third-round pick coming out of Texas. He also started at Alabama. He can run. He's a 4.3 guy. But again, he was undrafted. Shedeur is also targeting Larvidan, undrafted rookie out of South Carolina. What do you think is going to happen against that defense? That chop-slicking defense at Chicago in the wind and the, 13-degree cold, wind chill below zero. What do you think is going to happen? So the first interception, he's going to Fannin once again. And DeMarco Jackson, the linebacker, drops, number 48, just drops and tips the ball, gets fingertips on the ball, tips it to himself for an interception, deep in Browns territory. Way to go. Great job. That's who they are. That's what they do to everybody. Fact. Second interception drove me crazy, made me want to vomit on my carpet. Shedeur threw a beautiful ball again into the wind to Jerry Jeudy, his quote-unquote number one wide receiver, the guy who got in Shedeur's face recently in the home game, jumped all over him on the sideline, went viral because Shedeur hadn't gotten the ball to him on a deep over. Shedeur throws a rocket into the wind and hits Jerry Jeudy for a touchdown right there. Right here, touchdown. It would have been the throw of the game for either quarterback, and the other quarterback's really good. His name is Caleb Williams, and he's got the Bears rolling. I believe the Bears are about to beat the Packers next Sunday at Chicago. That's just me. But Caleb is playing at a very high level under Ben Johnson. Wouldn't it be interesting to see what would happen if Ben Johnson were coaching Shedeur Sanders? Ball hits Jerry Jeudy right here. The same Jerry Jeudy who got up in Shedeur's face on the sideline. Right there. Bounces off his pads, and Jalen Johnson, who's really, really good, is right there. He's all over him. It's great coverage, but it was a better throw. Whoops. Right to Jalen Johnson, who just keeps running through the end zone with an interception. Jalen Johnson made the Pro Bowl last year before. Throw of the day winds up counting as an interception against Shedeur Sanders. Then the third interception, fourth quarter, late in game, completely out of control. One of the great ball hawks of this era, somebody who's at least in the conversation with my favorite sparring partner on Arena Gridiron. You can see it tomorrow at 2:30 Eastern time until 4:30 Eastern time. Aqib Talib, one of the great ball hawks in the history of this game as a cornerback. At least C.J. Gardner-Johnson is in the conversation. So on play in question, C.J. lines up like he's going to blitz off the left side, and at the snap, he bolts backward. Shedeur didn't quite get it up high enough. Throwing to Fannin Jr. again. It's just Fannin Jr. It's rookie to rookie. That's all they got. That's all Shedeur's got to work with. And coaches who didn't want to draft him in the first place. And the ball is just slightly underthrown, but it's actually not a terrible throw. It's just a great play by a really, really, really good player who just makes plays wherever he's been, in New Orleans, Philadelphia. Just makes plays. C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I'm a big fan. That was interception number 3. So a team that came in leading the league in interceptions winds up with 3 more. Now they have 21 for the year. They're running away with the interception lead. Shedeur winds up 18 of 35 for 177. It's not bad. No touchdowns to 3 interceptions. He was sacked 5 times. Does he hold the ball a little long occasionally? Maybe a couple times he did today. He's just not trying to throw it to the Bears. That's the whole point. Don't throw it to the Bears. They're as opportunistic as any team I've seen in a decade. Seriously, catching footballs, snatching footballs. It's who they are. It's what they do. Caleb had a really good game against a defense that's starting to unravel right before your very eyes. Caleb went 17 of 28 for 242 with 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. They got to him 3 times. Total yards for the game, 361 to 192, because the Bears are just better than the Cleveland Browns. Time of possession was just out of control at halftime. Browns cut it back to Chicago 33 minutes to 27 minutes for Shedeur and company. They just didn't have enough opportunities. Shedeur made a couple of nice escapes, but there was one early that was a great escape on a blindside corner blitz where he just 360'd out of the sack, made a nice run. He can move. Legs underrated. Quickness, athletic ability, underrated. The 2 throws to Isaiah Bond were really good, especially the deep one. And the throw to Jerry Jeudy was spectacular, on the money, touchdown. Would have been the throw of the game and one of the best throws, I'll bet you, of the day. And I was also watching a bunch of good throws from Josh Allen. Shedeur is it. Shedeur is him. Shedeur is who they've been looking for in Cleveland. This was a tough one. 31-3 Chicago. Wrong place, wrong time for Shedeur. And I can't even say company because there's not much company around him. He's kind of playing by himself, and now even the defense isn't backing him up. 31 points for the Chicago Bears. But I just spit all the facts that laid out all the reasons why Shedeur was in such a bad spot today. I'm chucking it. I don't care, but I'm going to flush it. I'm going on to the next day. I can't wait to talk about it tomorrow and Tuesday when Jay Gruden comes in with his film breakdown of this game, and I'm sure he'll be hard on Shedeur, but you have to put it into context. You have to frame it with the facts of what was Shedeur up against today in Chicago. It was impossibly hard. I picked the Bears. I thought at least Shedeur could hang in and make it respectable, and he couldn't. He just doesn't have enough help while playing for a coaching staff that didn't want him in the first place. I envy Caleb Williams with Ben Johnson, Drake May with Josh McDaniels. I can go on and on. All the good ones have a guy, have a guru. I still, it just pains me. It just rips my guts out to think, well, yeah, Shedeur's the answer in Cleveland, but is Cleveland the answer for Shedeur? Because I don't think so. It's just a sorry, sad sack franchise. Wacky ownership. It's kind of a wannabe Jimmy Haslam. He's a Jerry wannabe, and I'm not trying to defend Jerry as the guru of owners. God knows. But I just wish there was some way Shedeur could start fresh with a real coordinator, somebody who really believed in him and knew how to play to all of his strengths. He's got the whole package. He just needs somebody to create a comfort zone of confidence and trust and belief around him, and he doesn't have that in Cleveland. I hurt for him. I bleed for him internally, man. It's just hard to watch. I don't love it for him. I just wish there was some way he could get the hell out of Cleveland and get a fresh start somewhere else. Maybe they'll trade him. There's just got to be a way. This is just wrong for Shedeur Sanders.